Alright, so I got my lighting up on the lift here, and the other day I took it out and noticed that I was losing fuel pressure. And I've diagnosed a few things. My fuel filter is like basically brand new as of like a week ago. The fuel pump resistor has been checked. That is not an open circuit. There is resistance going through it and it is connected. My booster pump is working. I can see the voltage jumping from 12 volts to, you know, like 15 or whatever volts it is going to the back. That confirms that the Hobb switch is working. No fuse is blown or anything like that. And then also my boost referenced fuel pressure regulator is working as well. That rises as the boost rises. Of course, when the fuel pressure falls, then it falls again, but basically it does work up to a certain point. So what I'm gonna do is get under here and take the fuel filter out and hook a chunk of hose on there so I can drain the tank. Of course, the tank is like literally full right now, about as full as it could be. So I'm gonna do that first and try and lighten the load for us. So to get this undone, you just take this little piece right here, pull this back, and go like that. And you can see how that's like unhooked now. It's kind of like a safety. And then you need to get one of these goofy tools. They make several versions. Come in here with the cup facing like away from you here, like this. And you go up here and grab it and get in behind that fitting and loosen that thing up. Alright, so you can see the filter is pulled down and all my writing is basically erased. Sharpie wasn't a great idea with E85. But anyway, now I'm gonna lower the truck down a little bit and energize the pumps, and when I do that, that will make this tank pump down. Alright, so then you come up to your fuse box here and you pull this relay right here. This is for the fuel pump. Get yourself a jumper, turn the ignition on, and that wire and that one, so you can see which two I'm hitting right there, and that'll make the pump run. And so you can have somebody help you and run it into the tanks, and a quick way to empty the gas tank. Alright, so we pumped out 20 something gallons, no problem, all well filtered now, and so that will just sit until we'll probably put it back in the truck. But now we can go about getting this tank out. You got straps right there and right there, and I had this out somewhat recently to put the pumps in the first place, so it shouldn't be too bad, but we will see. Alright, so got the tank out, and you have your fill and your return, this is the pump power, and then you have a filler and a breather, filler, and there's one other plug right there. And so it's out, not too bad. 2 straps is all that holds it up, and when you add your own lines and your own breather and things like that, it's a lot easier because you can leave yourself a little slack. Alright, so now we can take the hat off here. Alright, so as soon as we pulled this sucker out of here, found this right here, you can see pretty clear split. Obviously that's not going to be good for fuel pressure. So I am using the submersible fuel line, obviously. You know, E85 I guess just tore it all up. So you're gonna have to get a new piece. They sell this stuff by like a single foot. If you're gonna do 3 of them, you need all under 4 inches or something. It's kind of a joke. So anyway, gonna have to redo this thing, but order parts first. Well, I assumed that I had to buy parts, but wouldn't you know, I found one on my shelf at my house. Gates 27093, Gates brand, and it's just 1 foot of hose, submersible, and wouldn't you know, that's the guy that I'm gonna cut up and put in this system. So I'm gonna take all the hose clamps loose, take all the pipes off, or hoses off of there, and redo this whole thing. Alright, so this is a stainless Y This you can get from like LFP or any of the places that sell parts, or probably Menards or McMaster-Carr or something. But basically what was in the actual tank was, I think, a plastic Y, and this here obviously is stainless. And that's why I kind of was ruling this whole system out, is because I knew I put this together properly before, and I knew I replaced the plastic one with this stainless one. But obviously the line just does not hold up with the E85. So this is the place where it was actually broke and torn right here. You can actually see daylight through this thing. Not ideal. So that definitely is losing pressure and causing me problems. We're gonna get this thing fixed. What I'm going to try to do to eliminate the problem that I had is I'm going to try and make this short shot right here like kind of as short as possible, so that leaves the section below the Ys with as much wiggle room and flexibility as I can. Hopefully that'll cut down on the stress on that hose, maybe make it last 4 years rather than 3. Alright, so you can see I made this line a little shorter deliberately, so hopefully that'll shove that Y further up towards the hat. Alright, so now that this Y is on and it's generally, pointing at the 2 feeds of the pumps, so I'm going to try and get this to be a little more natural. That one, this one hose had quite a bend in it, and so maybe that was what, contributed to its failure. Alright, so I got all my hose clamps tightened down. Everything's good there. That should be much more natural compared to how the hoses were pretty twisted. They had a lot of kink in them. You can still see some of it remaining. So hopefully this system lasts a little longer, and maybe I have to do something different in the future. Alright, so this is all put back in, tightened up. Now it's just a matter of plugging everything back in. Alright, so you can see some of the connections here. This would be one of the breathers right here, and it goes across, and there's a little fitting there. You can see that little plastic Y fitting, and then here's the other breather. Then it goes around and loops up to my vent. So here's my vent. It's just like a sintered brass exhaust port from an air tool. And I just have it zip tied up there, and it seems to work fine. So no charcoal canister or any of that other garbage that's here. It's all been deleted now. So anyway, we'll get the gas tank put back in. Alright, so I got the fuel tank put back in, and now you can see a little bit more of what we're dealing with. So been better off of my very brief test drives, but here we go. In the 10s, that's more like it. So I'd call that job done. Thankful to have this thing back and running again.